How do you see it? Do you think that for Manchester City they have to win to keep the title race alive?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, obviously we're running out of games. Arsenal obviously having another big win yesterday, scoring goals, another clean sheet. So yeah, putting the pressure back on City, and of course Liverpool have lost their way a little bit this year in terms of their league form, and they'll be worried about obviously missing out on that Champions League. So big game for both clubs. Yeah,
must win, Micah.
Must win. I'm saying it now. This is league-defining weekend. If City lose, I think it's all over. If they can stay within 6 points, they've got the game in April as well. Man City were to win that and go 3 points towards the end of the season. Man City are really good at this part of the season towards the end. But I'm excited. I can feel something today. Man City have played well in the last 2 games. Newcastle were very good. Spurs in the first half were very good also. Defensively, frailties, but going forward, the combinations, they're there.
We talk about City being good at this time of the season, and it has traditionally been a time where Manchester City have come alive. You look at their 8 title-winning seasons. Look at this from the last 14 games. 18-19, they took maximum points. I'm not sure that 30 would be enough for City this time round. That would leave them on 77. Daniel, do you think this current Manchester City team has it in them to put on a run of this kind of type that could really threaten Arsenal?
I think they do. But today is a big moment for them, for confidence and for momentum. It's not I wouldn't say it's a season-defining game, but for confidence and momentum it is, because psychologically you're going into the other games knowing that you've got to build this run, and I think today puts a downer on the camp. It makes you feel as if, look man, it's a massive task now guys, and we're behind the 8 ball a little bit. So I think, you know, when you look at them, you look at the squad they have, Haaland's not at his best at the moment, so you imagine that's going to turn and he's going to become who we know him to be, which is an out-and-out goal scorer weekly. They've made some very good signings. They're getting players back fit. So all in all, you know, today is a big game for them, but momentum and confidence is the most important thing for that Manchester City team.
Mike has gone big early, must win. But would it be a shock if City did win?
Yeah, I'd be surprised if City win today. That's going to go everywhere, isn't it? No, but notoriously, Man City find it difficult at this stadium. Pep Guardiola does, and far better Manchester City teams than what they've got right now. So, as I said, Liverpool normally do well in this fixture. And I think with how Liverpool sort of have looked in sort of the last couple of games at home, you know, a European game and against Newcastle, scoring plenty of goals, starting to look a little bit more exciting. And Manchester City are going to play a game today that is not the one that Arne Slot keeps talking about is giving Liverpool problems in terms of set pieces, low blocks. So I think it'd be a great game, it'd be an open game, and that'll suit Liverpool, and it'll suit City as well. I don't think Liverpool are great defensively. I think we saw that in the first half an hour against Newcastle. Very fortunate only to be 1-0 down, Liverpool. So it should be a really good game, but yeah, Liverpool normally do well in this fixture.
If they don't win, Micah, could it actually go the other way for Manchester City, given that Manchester United have won? Ooh, look at me like that. Man United have won 4 out of 4. Chelsea, the same.
I mean, anything can happen, but no, I mean, to come to Liverpool is always difficult. I think last time the one here was 2021, so we know Jamie's
right. Are we including that one?
Well, yeah, we're including everything, because it's there for the stats.
But it's relevant, is it not? With the fans weren't here.
Yeah, but they still won, didn't they? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I do.
But in terms of Man City are not going to buckle because the standards have been so high. Are Man City what they were a couple of seasons ago? Probably not, but I've just seen signs of Man City building some momentum. If Gay comes back into the side today, hopefully he's fine. I think we're going to see a terrific game today.
But when was the last time we saw Man City win a big game away from home? You always, when looking back at the last few years, you always felt City in their prime when they were really at it. You never bet against them. But at this moment in time, you're looking defensively, there's still use question marks. Yeah, still nice on the eye, still obviously will cause problems going forward. But defensively, yeah, you'd be worried from.
But you talk about momentum. They've won 1 and 6 in the Premier League. So I mean, they're not building momentum right now. And I think if City don't win today, I agree with Roy, most of the lads, that the title's gone, that's over. They become now in the fight for Champions League. They'd only be, if Man City lose here, they're only 3 points ahead of Manchester United. Do you know what I mean? And if Liverpool win today, that they're not a million miles away from Manchester United as well. So then you'd almost become the top team of the Champions League race. You're not chasing Arsenal.
I just think more in terms of the way Man City have been playing. If you watched them against Spurs in the first half, they was exceptional. again against Newcastle, 3-0 at half-time. They was playing some really good football. I think the question today is, how does Haaland fit into what they want to do? So historically, Man City win the ball back up high and very quickly. With Haaland, it doesn't seem to be working. When they played with Semenyo, and you did the game as well, and Mamouche, the difference in terms of them getting the ball back quickly and pressing high and the rotation, it was like watching Man City of old. Like I said, the conundrum...
So would you put Haaland on the bench?
No, I'm just saying in terms of when Haaland will be introduced into the game. If you want coming to Anfield and it's ferocious, maybe it is, time to put Haaland and introduce it in the second half when the game opens up.
I mean, it's obviously, I don't imagine Haaland to be on the bench personally. What I will say is when you look at the signings they've made in Semenyo and Guehi, they've had joy playing against Liverpool as well as here at Anfield. So I think they're coming in with an edge to them, knowing that Liverpool are beatable. But look, it's a team game at the end of the day, but you'd expect that their players have to have big performances today if they want to get the job done here.
Mike has turned up. He's gone big. Must win. Haaland on the bench.
Let's get to the Premier League leaders then, Arsenal, who are now 9 points clear after a comfortable victory over Sunderland at the Emirates. It's their biggest lead in the Premier League since the last time they took the title in 2004. Cloud9, say the Sun, as Martin Zubimendi scores once again. And Mikel Arteta's team, Charlie, take another step towards the promised land.
On the final whistle yesterday, obviously a huge roar, and the feeling just felt different because obviously everyone at the Emirates has been a bag of nerves this season for most of the time anyway. And I think even the most pessimistic Arsenal fan, yes, they realised, even though they believed they could win the title, I think they most of them know they're going to win the title. And it's been a big week for Arsenal. Thrashing Leeds, getting past Chelsea, and putting 3 past Sunderland, who was stubborn, without playing brilliant football, they're effective. They're the best team in the country at the moment. Got the best squad, and even Arteta, his body language at the end of the game, and he was having a chat with Granit Xhaka on the pitch, it was all very, very positive. Yes, after the game, and we go to Brentford Thursday now in good spirits, I think.
We were talking, James, about title-winning sides before we came on air this morning. I think you at the time were still battling the A4, but one of the conversations that we were having is that you become very misty-eyed about teams that win the title and say, oh, wasn't it great? They must have won 4-0 every week, playing like Brazil in 1970. And actually, that's not really the case a lot of the time. Is one of the things you would say about Arsenal, they just make the fewest mistakes and the least slip-ups compared to those around them?
Yeah, I mean, so I had last weekend I went to Leeds on a Saturday and then watched Spurs play City on the Sunday. So I got to see both teams live in the space of 24 hours. And the difference between them on that day was Arsenal went 2-0 up at Leeds, and Leeds had a little spell where they started to try to get back in the game, and Arsenal kind of killed it off. Then City went 2-0 up at Spurs. Spurs found a way back into the game, and they didn't have that level of control. And what people, I think, mistake as kind of boredom or functionality is that ability to control matches. And Arsenal are better at that than anyone else because City have dropped off. And I think because Arsenal have not been maybe as free-flowing and as expansive and as dynamic as they maybe have been in recent seasons, I think the reason for that is because they were caught a little bit between the team they were last season and the team they planned to be this year. When they made the 8 new signings, when they bought Gyökeres, and they talked about trying to be more direct, trying to be more, not play this sort of horseshoe football where they're playing, in front of teams and trying to probe for an opening. They're trying to get the ball into their attacking players quicker and be more dynamic. They started trying to do that. Then Gyökeres got injured. They put Mourinho back in up top. They went top of the table, and suddenly Gyökeres got fit, and they thought, actually, we're not only we're top of the league, we're clear here. We've got the strongest squad in the league. Do we really need to be that open and that expansive? Or can we control these matches like we did and rely on the depth of talent that we now have to rotate and keep those positions, attacking positions, fresh to be able to win, not nick games, but be able to win games with the finer margins than just trying to be expansive and roll teams over. And what they're finding as the months go on is that because Liverpool have dropped, City have dropped, Chelsea haven't got quite enough, that actually that is enough to win them the league.
Does it feel as though it's going to be as comfortable, if not more, than it was for Liverpool last season, who won it with 4 to spare?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it's foolish to ever write off Guardiola's City.
Said in hope as a Spurs fan.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Said in wild optimism. And I guess the evidence of the last few seasons suggests you shouldn't completely bank on Arteta's Arsenal as well, but I do think this year feels different. I mean, one interesting element, I guess, is that they've got a League Cup final now in March 22nd. And I do think, there's potential for that game to be quite psychologically significant and interesting. Arsenal going for their second trophy under Arteta, but for almost all of the squad, their first trophy, really, certainly at Arsenal. City have almost a whole new team. They need to lift silverware as well, and Guardiola's talked a lot about the significance of winning a minor trophy and going on to win bigger ones. So that could psychologically be an interesting game if City win it and they're still within, let's say, 6-7 points. They've then got Arsenal at the end of April in the league. If they're still within touching distance, then that could be a chance for Arsenal to effectively win the league, or City to claw it back and make for a really nervy finale. So there's still kind of twists and turns to come. Obviously, you never say never in the Premier League, but as Charlie says, it does really feel like this Arsenal team are going to do it this time.
Yeah, I've got to say, I'm not quite as they're going to win it. I'm not quite as clear as you. Only because look, City play twice now before Arsenal play again. They win at Anfield. I think it's Fulham they've got in midweek. They could be 3 points behind Arsenal by the time that they go to Brentford, which we all agree now is a very difficult game for Arsenal.
City don't feel like the kind of team that are going to win 7-8 in a row, as they did previously.
And I think they thought if they could stay within touching distance, because they know they've got that game in the Etihad at the back of their minds, which they've got to win if they're going to win the league. I think if they could keep Arsenal within 3, 4, 5 points with that game sort of in their back pocket, then they'll feel they're in it. But the chances are, if they lose at Anfield today, they'd be 9 behind, and it's a very long way back from there.